Hey guys, it's New Year's 2017, and as with every New Year's, I always get a little bit introspective and think a lot about how the last year has gone and where I want to go in the future. So I want to do that on my channel as well. In my first video, I talked a little bit about, what Life Love LARP is supposed to be and how I got into LARP. But today I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to get introspective with you. I want to tell you the full story of how I got to where I am in LARP and why it's so important to me. Also going to give a huge shout out and a thank you to individuals who have impacted me in a very positive way and made LARP amazing. So, let's go. Alright, so I've been LARPing for about 4 years now. My first introduction to LARP was my wife and I were watching TV and an episode of Fanboys came on the Discovery Channel, and it was the LARP episode. I was immediately intrigued, and honestly I fell in love with the players. Just watching the episode, I wanted to meet these people and hang out with these people. My wife thought it was interesting, but she didn't share my immediate enthusiasm. She felt it was kind of taking my already evident nerddom and stepping into the realm of uber nerd, which, fair enough, it kind of is. I had played Dungeons & Dragons when I was a young teenager, and been involved in community theater for a couple of years, and been a musician, so I wasn't really a shy person, so I had a couple of advantages when it came into jumping into game. It still took me a few years to get out there and step into a full-blown LARP. At that moment in life, I was working full-time as lead project manager for a hazmat and restoration company. I was miserable. I was stressed out all the time. I didn't really have a whole lot outside of work that I was really enjoying. I went camping and fishing with my friends, and as a musician I was still playing all the time, but I was just miserable. I was not enjoying life. One of my good friends, Kelsey, invited me out to play in his D&D 3.5 game. I hadn't role-played like that in years, but I thought, you know what, sure, let's do it. So we started playing on Friday nights and did that for pretty much, a full year straight. But it was quite a while before the subject of LARP came up. To this day, we have no idea which one of us started the conversation, but once we started to share our enthusiasm for what LARP was, or at least what we thought it was and what it could be, we knew we had to take the next step. Our destiny was sealed. So, off to the internet we go. We found a local LARP group that had what we felt was a sizable number of players. There was about 30 to 40 that were coming out to game, it seemed, and I think their Facebook had about 200 at that time. We took a look at the rules. They were incredibly confusing. I had no idea what most of the terms meant, but being a D&D player, you kind of get into it and figure it out eventually. The game was fairly math heavy as well. There was a lot of numbers that you had to keep track of for health and your mana pool, your willpower, a whole bunch of stuff. I think it was about 5 or 6 numbers you had to remember. And math is not my strong suit, but I was still dying to try it out. Now, I had a fair bit of costuming experience from my 5 years of community theater. I had a number of pieces in my closet that I could take this and that and put something new together, so I wasn't too worried about that. But I figured, I better get on the internet and just check and see what you need to bring. One of the first videos I found was a video by LARP Girl, and how to go out and hit the thrift store and put together a budget LARP costume. It helped a lot. She's awesome, and if you haven't seen her videos yet, perhaps you live under a rock. I don't know, they're everywhere. But you should definitely check her out. Next, I found Momo O'Brien. Now, to be honest, I watched her videos probably close to a dozen times each before I actually got out to a game. And I would definitely credit her for giving me the final push to get out and try it. She made everything seem so easy and fun and like such a grand adventure. She put my mind at ease about all the math and everything else, and she gave some really good tips to new LARPers about how to prepare. One of her best pieces of advice that I still give to new LARPers every time they ask about how do I get started. Before you go out and game, go out and crew. Donate some time to just learn the system, and everybody's going to be very supportive. You don't have to know all of the rules. You only have to know a little bit about that particular scene that you're doing, and you've got 5 or 6 other people there that are doing the same thing, so you can always hide behind somebody else and they'll help you out. So now that I had my courage up, I had my costume together, I needed to find some weapons. I didn't want to be the guy that came out and always had to borrow something from somebody else. In Vancouver at that time, there was one LARP store, or one store that sold LARP weapons. And honestly, I wasn't too happy with the selection. He had a little bit of Epic Armory stuff and a bunch of Calamasil. Now, the local LARP here didn't allow Calamasil because the foam was a little bit too firm, and his Epic selection was slim. And I was a little shocked by how expensive all this stuff is. Figured the best thing to do, back to YouTube. I can make this stuff. It's got to be easier and cheaper somehow, right? Yeah, so right away I found some videos by a guy named Jesse Skellington. I think he's in the Seattle area. He was a world of help and had some great information on what tools to buy and what foam to use, all that sort of thing. Now, myself, having been a craftsman and an artist for all my life, I took to it quite quickly, and it wasn't very long, and I was banging out some pretty serious props. So we had pretty much everything we needed, and I decided to take Momo's advice. I went out and crewed my first 3 or 4 games. I didn't create a character, I just went out and helped out, learned the system, and met the people. And it was fantastic. Being out there in the field with great people and great costumes and props and the adventures, and I just couldn't get over how much fun it was. It awakened something inside me. So getting back to real life, I was still working for the restoration company and running projects and a lot of stress. And to be honest, my work-life balance was unbalanced. I was always thinking about my job, and I hated it. My relationship with my employer started to break down, and it was just not beneficial for either of us being there. And we mutually decided that I would leave the company. It was hard. I didn't have another job. I didn't know how I was going to support my family. Some days I still don't, but that's another story. I realized that in my life, I didn't want to do anything that I wasn't passionate about anymore. I didn't want to do anything that I didn't love. Now, I was good at my job and was very successful at what I did, and I'm very proud of it. But it always left me feeling empty, like I needed something more. The only time I was happy was when I was talking about LARP, or when I was, working with my tools, making weapons, or, sewing somebody a costume, or telling somebody about the adventures that I have, or the story, or my character, and that kind of thing. So once I left the company, every time I thought about getting a real job and working a 9 to 5, I had a lot of stress and anxiety if I thought it might interfere with my ability to make it out to LARP, if I thought that it wouldn't give me the time or the energy to be able to craft things for people and make weapons. If I thought about relocating to a place that didn't have LARP, I would literally break into a sweat and my heart would start to pound. Now, I'm not saying that LARP became such a compulsion that I couldn't live without it, but it had become such a joy that it broke my heart to think about having to give part of that up. And there's a difference there. I was burnt out and stressed out by life, and it was LARP that gave me joy. So while I was fumbling around trying to figure out what to do with my life and how to support my family, somebody recommended that I try working in TV and film. So I made a few calls, sent a few emails, and found myself an agent, and started working on acting. I was doing extra work, and all of a sudden, boom, I found my thing. I get to go out and be professional on camera and basically LARP. I get to tell other people's stories by standing in place, walking from here to there, buying a coffee, wearing fancy costumes, running through the woods with swords, all that kind of stuff. How could it be any better? Not only that, the impact it had on my family was huge. I was no longer the angry, sad dad. I was the guy that could come home after working a 16-hour shift and be excited to tell everybody about what I did all day. I suddenly had time and energy to spend on my wife and my kids and my friends and my other relationships. I had time and energy to invest in people because I wasn't miserable and I wasn't burnt out. And I always had something to talk about that I was excited and passionate about. LARP. Whether it was a new crafting skill that I learned or telling somebody about a new thing that I did in game or a new character or whatever, I always had something to talk about and I was happy. So flash forward a couple of years. I'm now part of a wonderful creative team who's made our own LARP. We have our own 30 to 40 players, and it's growing all the time. I've made dozens, countless weapons for customers both here in Canada and in the United States. I'm a professional actor, and even though I only make about a quarter of what I used to make, I'm very happy to do that because I enjoy everything that I do. I have a community of friends that spans the globe, and we share one common passion. It's LARP. So what is LARP for me today? LARP has become a necessary part of my life. It helps me maintain a good mental health balance. It constantly improves my acting and improvisational skills. It's made me a better artist and won me recognition as an artist and prop builder. That never would have happened without LARP. I want to explore everything I can in this dynamic game universe and bring you along with me. I want to do this all for the hope that your life will be enriched by the world of LARP and you will be inspired to chase your dreams, to take on new challenges and, stretch your boundaries, take risks and learn new things, meet wonderful people. And that's why I started this YouTube channel. So as I go into this new year, I want to start it off right by giving thanks to those who have no idea how much they've actually enriched my life. I want to give credit where credit is due. Momo O'Brien, you are amazing. I respect you so much, and I am so grateful for the effort and time that you've put into your videos and what that has brought to the LARP community at large. This last year and a half or so, I've seen you struggle and stress a lot about your videos, and it breaks my heart to see you hurt. I mean that. It's you that is amazing. Your content is always great, your adventures are always fantastic, the stuff that you put into your videos is always entertaining, but it's you that makes them special. It's you that makes them amazing because you bring yourself to it, and I respect and honor your transparency so much. You're a fairy princess in my world up here, and thank you for being you because you have made my life better. It really is who you are that makes your channel awesome. So don't worry, just be yourself. And thank you for making the LARP world a better place. Jesse Skellington, dude, you are awesome. Your dedication to the craft and willingness to share your knowledge with those around you is inspiring. In the business world, I've always learned that it's important to keep your secrets safe. Keep them close to your pocket, if you know what I mean. Because there's always somebody around this corner that's going to steal your idea or improve on what you've done and make you obsolete or take away your uniqueness in the trade. But you were always there to share ideas and tips and techniques with me. You'd answer my emails. Your videos gave me so much information on how I could, get started, the tools to buy, the materials to use. And I'll be eternally grateful to you for the skills that you've passed on to me. You showed me that LARP prop crafting can be a community where we help each other as artists and encourage each other to make better stuff because it just makes the whole damn world cooler. It's not about me and showing how awesome I am. It's about me taking what I have and helping you do what you do better so that you can make cool stuff. And that's awesome. So thank you for showing me that skills are not things to hoard, but they're gifts to share. Max Sterling of LARPgasm. Dude, you are such a wacky and creative guy. Your videos are always educational, but they're also entertaining. I have a particular fondness for your videos on lock picking and trap making and that sort of thing. Encouraged me to bring a great depth of immersion and realism to our game. And I tell you, dozens of people are benefiting from your legacy and what you've done. So on behalf of our LARP community and players, thank you for inspiring me. It's made their game experience better. LARP Girl, thanks so much for bringing us new and exciting content. Your weapon reviews, your tips, your tricks, it all goes a long way to helping people better understand the world of LARP. I also want to thank you for getting out there and trying different games. It makes a huge difference to see somebody step out and try games outside of their local area. It gives us good information on how our games are running in comparison. And I'm grateful that you continue to do what you do to make the LARP community better. Cheyenne of LARP House. Oh my God, I swear that we are long lost relatives of some kind. So much of your content goes beyond just tips and tricks and how to make costumes and do makeup. It's deep and meaningful, it's thought-provoking, and you push us to look deeper at our relationship with LARP and what it is and what it can be for our emotional and psychological being. Of course, your prop, costume, and makeup tutorials are stellar, but you're so much more than that. Your willingness to be transparent with your own struggles in order to help others with theirs is priceless and deserves recognition. You're intelligent, encouraging, compassionate, and passionate. And I only hope to be half as good at what I do as what you've repeatedly shown yourself to be. Not to mention your quirky mannerisms and, well, let's face it, borderline sanity always brings a smile to my face. You have literally made me laugh out loud a number of times while watching your videos. In my opinion, America lost a true treasure when you went to Germany. But hey, with any luck, maybe Drakenfest is in our future? We'll see. Anyway, I know I could go on and on about this stuff, but I want to be respectful of your time as well. So, lastly, I want to thank my local LARP community and my Compass Rose LARP team. It's difficult to express how much you mean to me, and I don't ever want to take you for granted. I just want to pour into you and give you everything that I can to make your LARP experience better. I love each and every one of you. So, as we go into this new year, I hope to be able to continue to bring you experience from my life, love, and LARP for years to come. I hope that I'm able to do my part to continue to bring things to the table to enrich the LARP community. I hope that in some way I'm able to enrich the lives of those who share this crazy pastime, both in-game and out of game. So together we can inspire others around us and make the LARP community as amazing as it possibly can be. So keep coming back. See you next year.